Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Leah Darling. I shall see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we'll be relaxing as per usual. Recording a bit earlier today than usual. Not going to stream because I need to record other things, to be honest, and I'm busy. I was considering streaming yesterday, but then I just didn't because I was like, I need to record some things. Theoretically, I guess the answer is I should be working on the thumbnail art more. But it is slow going. It's a monumental task, I think. But hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 12:42 PM on Sunday, April 6th, 2025. I'm certainly trying to sort of like pace myself more than anything, because I did like have a period where I was like working on it like a lot more, and then like my wrist started hurting quite a lot, and I was like, maybe that's probably a sign that I need to chill out a little bit. But yeah, what we're going to talk about today? Good question. Don't know. We played some more Rabbit and Steel last night to an inadvisable hour once again. I don't know, it's a fun game. What else can I say about it? It's also really sunny in Animal Crossing right now. It's incredibly sunny. It's reasonably sunny actually in the UK as well. Sit down. What can we talk about? Great question. Let me think. Excuse me, my throat is like meh. I've been playing a bit of TCG Pocket Ranked. Normally a couple of games, just in the morning or when I got some downtime, you know. You might be like, what deck have you settled on? What deck are you going with? I'm going with a Wug Trio deck because I think it's just honestly really funny. And what's the point of Ranked if you can't have fun with Ranked? I kind of like it because I suppose I'm not at a point where I want to like deeply think about every single move I'm doing in TCG Pocket. I feel like the position it's carved out for me as a game in my repertoire is one where I'm like, oh, I've got a few minutes. I kind of want to like, not mindlessly, but like low effort, just sort of play a little game or something. I mean, you know, you can just sort of bust out a ranked match or whatever. And Wug Trio is a very, very straightforward, simple deck. The only deck which I think is even more straightforward and simple is presumably Articuno 18 Trainers, but I don't have a second Articuno, so I can't play that deck. But, you know, hopefully I'll get one at some point. Excuse me. My throat is like, blah. But yeah, I'm busy later today because I'm going out with some friends. We're going to go watch the Minecraft movie, if you would believe it. You might be like, how looking forward to the Minecraft movie are you? And the answer is, I don't know. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm super anticipating it or anything. I can't imagine it's gonna be that great. I've not seen what critical reception is to it. You know what? Let's see. Minecraft movie. I'm pretty sure we are only seeing it for the meme. Some of my friends also do like watching movies, whether they are good or bad. Let's see, tomato meter 49%, popcorn meter 87%. Okay, so critics hate it and the audience find it fine or fun, probably. Okay, which is, you know, actually it's actually better than I expected. I thought it would be like, oh, critics hate it, that was going to be a given, and then I thought the audience would be like, only ironically like it, but I don't know. Seems like people are having kind of fun with it. I don't know. It was awful. I loved it. Okay, no, it does seem like people are ironically liking it. Brought my childhood to life. I don't know. I guess so. I guess all I'm really looking for is I hope it's fun because, you know, as snobby and pretentious as it may be, I probably do align a lot more with the overall movie critic side of things rather than the general populace. I mean, I said this before, I don't like watching movies which are like so bad or good. Like, I don't really get a lot of appeal out of them. I can understand, I 100% understand why you would, but for me, for whatever reason, I'm just like, no. This doesn't appeal to me. Something being so bad it's good doesn't wrap around for me. I don't have that integer underflow which other people seem to have when it comes to that self-enjoyment, which is a shame, really. Because as I always say, you know, I don't mean it in a way that is like, oh, this makes me superior or or better or something or of that ilk. It's more so the fact I'm just like, oh, you know, it's a shame that I have one less avenue or something to enjoy it with compared to, you know, like my friends. Well, I shouldn't say my friends, compared to people who do enjoy the so bad it's good sort of thing. I can't remember who, I was talking to like a friend and he like really likes like slasher movies, what they're called, like they're really cheesy horror movies which are just like so over the top, ridiculous, doesn't make any sense, but then they just sort of it's just there for like thrilling. I think laughs is probably the wrong word to use, but like cheap thrills, I guess. I'm trying to give a good example. I assume like Friday the 13th. Sorry, I'm moving around a lot. Friday the 13th might be a good example, or like Scream or something scary movie. Maybe, I don't know. I don't actually know if he likes that one. And I'm like, I can't get behind those movies at all. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I guess it's a downside of the way I talk. Is like, there's no way for me to talk about it in what I think is a more diplomatic, balanced, nuanced view without it making it seem like I'm being very smarmy. Because I was going to be like, it's absolutely frivolous. I'm like, it's not frivolous. It just doesn't appeal to my tastes, to be honest. And I still want to reiterate, I think this is not like a bad thing, but I think this is a shame of a thing. Because I would love to be able to watch like a bad movie and just be like, man, this is so bad, it's good, I love it. You know, like a guilty pleasure sort of thing. But that's not, unfortunately, where I get my enjoyment out of. You know, like trash TV, I think that's the best thing. Like people, I know a lot of people who adore reality TV or can get a lot out of it. Like, or they watch it and like, this is fun, this is drama, this is silly or whatever. And I just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't click with me in that way. I understand the concept. I don't think people are watching this for highbrow entertainment. I don't think people are watching this to get, I don't know, like, challenge their viewpoints or anything. They're watching this because it's entertainment, it's drama, it's fun, and that sort of thing. But I just can't get into it. Like, my friends right now, I think, are watching The Apprentice on Thursdays because I think there's a new season. I have joined them for a few episodes. I can't say I particularly enjoyed it. Like, didn't enjoy the experience. Of course, I love hanging out with my friends, so of course I enjoyed the experience. But like the actual TV show itself, I was like, this is immensely frustrating to watch. Which is like, it's. I don't mean this as like a dissuasion against the people who are on that show, but like, it's meant to be entertainment first and foremost, right? It's meant to be dramatic and kind of a spectacle of it. I think a lot of the time I just ended up drawing and having it sort of on in the background, turned down. I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. And recently we watched an episode of like Love Island. I think I spoke about this as well, and I was also like, I just don't like, it just doesn't click with me. Yeah. But I don't know, like, I've spoken with people enough about it, and I understand the viewpoint enough that people can get the entertainment out of it, because drama can be fun, I suppose. It's weird to say that, because I think a general consensus is that as long as it's drama that you're not involved in, it doesn't affect you, and obviously doesn't have, like, far-reaching, like, extreme negative consequences, like things like petty drama, I suppose. I think the general consensus in the population is that is entertaining in a sort of, like, Schadenfreude way. I guess Schadenfreude is just like a perfect word to encapsulate that. And I think it's fair, you know, like, it's part of the human experience, emotions that, you know, we humans, I suppose, are not all perfect. We all have like these negative traits. In an ideal utopia, would you argue that taking Schadenfreude in something is an inherently benevolent trait? I think was probably the biggest argument to say no, taking pleasure out of other people's pain. I probably should have explained that at some point, if you haven't seen the Avenue Q song. But I think it is at least inherently human in a way to take... I don't know how to say this. That we are inherently flawed, and thus something like Schadenfreude exists, you know, right? I guess it's kind of, I mean, the whole basis of Schadenfreude is you look at other people's, or the situation other people in, and again, I mean like petty drama. I don't mean like big, actual, like, world-changing or life-destroying drama. Because at that point, I feel like most people's sort of like empathy levels overwrite the Schadenfreude and be like, oh damn, that like terribly sucks. But I mean things like imagine like your work colleagues like who keeps, I don't know, taking my stapler or something like that. You know, obviously that whoever is taking a stapler is not doing them is not a good thing, right? In an ideal world, that person would take a stapler, borrow it, and then return it instead of keeping it. But then maybe that colleague is just getting insanely frustrated at to like an insane degree, to the point it's almost like there seems like a comical overreaction to it. I think, well, while it is a very human reaction to sort of see entertainment, being like, why are you overreacting so much to this? Just like, if it, just, I don't know, maybe. I'm not like diving into the nuance of this, like, oh, there's like some greater underlying problem. We're taking this at surface level, surface value, okay? Just so we're all on the same page. There is something to be said about the human nature of Schadenfreude in that sort of scenario, right? Why is it that we find it so entertaining? And I suppose part of it is a comparison. Maybe it's a comparison to some sort of like arrogance or something, or pride we have as our own human self, being like, well, if that situation happened to me, sure, I'd be annoyed, but I don't think I'd have this sort of crash out reaction. And there's some sort of Schadenfreude in there. I was like, what is going on? Why do they have this reaction? It seems almost like, I guess that's the way to put it. It seems fictional as a reaction in some way or another. And where I was going with this, I'm setting up this entire story, is what I'm saying is these inherent like negative traits which exist in the world and I think are relatively common, I feel like it's not doing humanity or people a service to not only acknowledge that obviously these are not negative traits, but also not acknowledge the human side of them, that they are to a certain extent rather like ingrained with us in some sense. The same way that, like, what's a good example? Like if a friend like trips over or something like that, or stumbles, an ideal utopia, you help them up, and your friend, you tell them like, are you okay, are you hurt, anything like that. But I think the reality that most people will find is that they'll laugh or something and just be like, you idiot, what are you doing, after making sure and understanding that there is no serious injury. So that basically is like, I don't know, I guess that sort of camaraderie is shared between the Schadenfreude, like shared experiences. It's not so much Schadenfreude as I'm taking delight because you are feeling pain, as it's so much as like, we've all been there, right? You know, the perfect colleague who's, this is me sort of breaking it down, trying to like, me without any sort of psychology knowledge whatsoever, trying to figure out the concept of Schadenfreude. Like, it's sort of, we've all been there, you know. That person who's crashing out over a stapler, it's probably, maybe they had a bad day or whatever, and, you know, that stapler was just like the straw on the camel's back. The Schadenfreude, I think that people tend to feel in that situation, I would assume, is because, like, we've all been there, it's so ridiculous, and I'm sure, like, 2 weeks from now, I know you're a sane person, you'll just be like, why was I so angry about someone taking my stapler? I don't know. And I feel like it, as I'm saying, like, as I was saying, it's a disservice to humanity to ignore that portion, I suppose, of it, because it's, if you sort of blanket term anything with Schadenfreude, anything which is like pleasure at the cost of someone else, is not representing something properly, or at least, you know, no plan survives contact with the enemy, and or no theory survives contact with reality, right? That's what I mean to say. Would I say Schadenfreude is a core part of the joy I take from life? And the answer is probably no. Not to say that there isn't situations where I will have like a Schadenfreude reaction to something. I will at least say, if I'm to be perfectly honest, it probably is a bit less than the average person, but I don't know if that is a good or bad thing, because I do think Schadenfreude is at least one of the strongest bonds, I suppose, that can be demonstrated in a relationship. Because, or not just a relationship as a romantic one, but like a friendship is what I had in mind. You know how they always say that like a good friend will help you up if you fall, but a great friend will laugh at you, or something like that. Well, probably, as I say, a great friend will laugh at you after making sure that you are okay, or something like that. Because, I mean, it's sort of like friendships and relationships are all defined by sort of boundaries and understanding and lines of each other, and being able to, and Schadenfreude, I suppose, is a line which would be crossed not malevolently maybe, but like unfairly for a stranger, but it's still a safe line to cross with a friendship or relationship. Shows the strength of that bond in the first place, knowing that you can cross that sort of social faux pas boundary of taking delight in someone else's pain or at the cost of someone else, but in not determining, what's the word, being to the detriment of someone's friendship or dynamic between them. That's interesting, isn't it? If you imagine everyone has like these invisible lines drawn in the sand, or what, not drawn in the sand, that's misrepresentative, these borders of like what things are like not good, don't cross, and things like that. The default one for like the average person, probably Schadenfreude, would cross that boundary. Like, why are you laughing at me, a person who just like, I don't know, walked into a lamppost or something? Maybe an inherently comical situation because it feels slapstick, but you know, you don't know me, right? But then if it happens to a friend and you do laugh, and it doesn't obviously come to the detriment of your friendship, it's showing the strength of your relationship, showing that the boundaries which you have established have sort of like moved forward, or there's more space behind them, such that things which would encroach or cross over that line for a stranger would not for your friendship. So that, I think, has been an interesting sort of dive into the nature of Schadenfreude in itself. I don't have anything else to say about it, but it's interesting to think about. I don't know if that has the same sort of tie-in relationship with whatchamacallit, the concept of watching things such that it's so bad it's good. But it's interesting to think if they're related or not. Anyway, Schadenfreude is a great word. There's a great Avenue Q musical song called Schadenfreude, which I had stuck in my head a lot when I was like 12 or whatever. Did I watch Avenue Q when I was 12? No. Just had a friend who was really into drama and really liked singing that song. And also there was a Homestuck animated video kind of, what are they called? Not cinematic, when it's like a series of shots. Animatic, that's a word, which was something I watched a lot when I was younger. Anyway, Schadenfreude, there you go. So, I'm going to round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now. So I guess, the summary is that Schadenfreude, it existing does not make you a bad person. Is that my conclusion? I suppose so. Depends on the nature and the context, as most things do. Okay, sorry. Actually, bye-bye for now.